A fortress of white stone rises from the river's edge, a stark symbol of royal power in a volatile age. This is the Tower of London in the 1400s, a century of rebellion, intrigue, and dynastic war. But it is more than just a castle. It is a royal palace, an armory, a treasury, and, most notoriously, a prison for the famous and the doomed. Through the lens of modern AI reconstruction, we can now step beyond the tourist site of today and walk its muddy wards, hear the clang of the armory, and sense the profound tension within its walls. This is a place where history was not just made, but was often imprisoned, waiting for a sentence to be carried out. Let us begin outside its walls. From across the Thames, the view is commanding. The central White Tower, built by William the Conqueror 2 centuries prior, still dominates the skyline, its pale limestone gleaming when wet. A formidable keep, but by the 1400s, it is encircled by concentric rings of defensive walls and towers added by successive kings. The air here smells of river mud, damp stone, and the distant smoke of the city. The water is a busy highway wherries, and barges clatter against wooden wharves, supplying the fortress city within. Standing here, you can see this isn't just a military installation. It's a small, densely populated town unto itself, a microcosm of medieval society perpetually on guard. Now, imagine walking through the main gate, under the watchful eyes of guards in royal livery. You enter a world of ordered chaos. The outer ward is a bustle of mundane activity that sustains this royal complex. Carts laden with firewood and grain creak over the cobbles. Blacksmiths' hammers ring from workshops, fashioning everything from horseshoes to arrowheads. Soldiers drill in open spaces, their shouts echoing off the high walls. There are clerks, cooks, craftsmen, and their families, perhaps a population of over 1,000 souls living within this stone embrace. The atmosphere is one of industry, but it's underscored by an ever-present military discipline. Every gate, every portcullis, is a reminder that this is a controlled space. We move inward to the heart of power, the inner ward surrounding the White Tower itself. Here, the grandeur is more pronounced. We might see finely dressed nobles and bishops crossing the yard, heading to council meetings or to attend upon the king. For the tower is still a royal residence, albeit one used more in times of trouble than for pleasure. The royal apartments within the Wakefield and Lanthorn Towers would have been opulent, hung with rich tapestries to ward off the chill. A stark contrast to the bare stone cells elsewhere. Standing here, it's impossible not to feel the political gravity of the place. In this century, the Wars of the Roses saw the crown change hands violently between Lancastrian and Yorkist kings. Control of the tower, its treasury, and its armory was often the first and most crucial step to controlling the kingdom. But let us use this AI reconstruction to peer into its most infamous role, that of a state prison. We descend from the open air into the lower dungeons, like the infamous dungeons beneath the White Tower. The sensory shift is immediate. The light vanishes, replaced by the guttering of a torch. The air grows cold, damp, and thick with the smell of mildew, stagnant, water, and human despair. The walls are rough-hewn stone, sweating moisture. These oubliettes, or forgotten places, were for those of low status. Yet the tower's prisoners were often of the highest rank. Kings of Scotland, fallen nobles, and disgraced bishops were held in relative comfort in the upper rooms of towers like the Beauchamp Tower. Their world was one of anxious luxury, awaiting ransom, release, or a far grimmer fate. And now we must confront the tower's darkest function. Just outside the chapel of St. Peter ad Vincula, on a patch of green known as Tower Green, history turned grimly intimate. This was the private execution ground, reserved for those whose public death might cause a riot or dignify treason. With modern AI, we can reconstruct the eerie quiet of such a morning. The axe was not a clumsy headsman's block, but a skilled swordsman's blade for nobles. Imagine witnessing this firsthand. The condemned, perhaps a queen or a duke, offering a final prayer, the small crowd of invited officials, the swift, brutal stroke. The contrast is chilling the serene chapel adjacent to the bloody scaffold, a duality of salvation and finality in one confined space. Yet life persisted. The tower was also a center of marvel and security. In the jewel house, the crown jewels and royal treasure were kept under heavy guarda, tangible symbol of the realm's wealth. In the royal menagerie, established in the 1200s and still going, strong in the 1400s, the air carries the alien smells of exotic beasts. Lions, bears, and elephants, gifts from foreign monarchs, were caged here, their roars and bellows adding an uncanny soundtrack to the fortress. For Londoners, a visit to see the king's beasts was a rare diversion. It was a place of spectacle. As well as secrets, consider the human stories etched into the very stone. In the Beauchamp Tower, prisoners of rank whiled away their endless hours by carving inscriptions into the walls. Using AI to highlight these faint scratches, they spring back to life heraldic badges, poignant poems, names and dates. Here is a tangible connection to an individual's despair, hope, and boredom from over 5 centuries ago. One famous inscription simply reads, "Jane." Was it a lover's name? A daughter's? This small, personal act of defiance against oblivion is in many ways as powerful as the grand political narratives. It reminds us that history is lived by individuals in rooms. Waiting. As the 15th century wanes, the tower's character is set. It has weathered peasant revolts that surged at its gates, housed kings plotting their return, and secured the instruments of war that decided a nation's fate. It stands as a physical manifestation of a central truth of the medieval world. Power was ultimately secured by stone, steel, and the capacity for terrifying punishment. The beauty of its architecture and the precision of its military design exist in direct partnership with its function to intimidate, incarcerate, and execute. So, what's remarkable here is not just the scale, but the synthesis of worlds. A mint produced the kingdom's coinage. Astronomers might have taken readings from its towers. The Board of Ordnance stored enough weaponry to equip an army. It was at once a secure bank, a palace, a barracks, a zoo, and a prison. This AI reconstruction allows us to see those layers simultaneously, to hear the chink of the goldsmith alongside, the clank of the jailer's keys, to smell the baking bread from the kitchens and the pungent straw of the menagerie. If we could witness this firsthand for a single day in the late 1400s, we would experience a potent distillation of England itself, its order, its brutality, its piety, and its raw political nerve. We would see a society where magnificence and misery were close neighbors, separated only by a wall or a royal whim. The tower did not merely reflect the tensions of the age, it contained them, quite literally, within its unyielding walls. Here today, amid the reconstructed shadows of the past, one reflects on the enduring nature of such places. They are built for permanence, to project power across centuries. The Tower of London's story in the 1400s is a foundational chapter. In that long biography, it teaches us that the seats of power are rarely simple. They are ecosystems of human endeavor, ambition, and fear. This has been a journey into the Tower of London, rebuilt through AI to its 15th century reality, a fortress of stone and sovereign will. If you could step into another moment in history, where or when would you go? Share your thoughts for future reconstructions below. Thank you for watching and for imagining with us.